Once we come to know that it has 40 to 80 grams of sugar in just one bottle, it's something which is completely unacceptable on a daily basis. Mr. Shetty and the family were there for dinner, and that's when we were having a trial runs going on. So Sagar happened to make him taste, and that's when he happened to say that this is something really good. He was also not aware about, like I wasn't few years back. This has a huge potential to grow as a product in retail market. So he's just not a brand ambassador or a face for the company. He's a partner in the company. From a 5-year-old to a 95-year-old can have it guilt-free. From an alcoholic to non-alcoholic can have it. Kombucha is not a trend. It's one of the oldest drink in the history of mankind. Goes back 5,000 years ago. Zero preservatives, zero colors. You can see my bottle is as clean as my label, as clean as my product. Kombucha is an acquired taste so far. 9 out of 10 kombuchas available in the market don't taste well. That's the reason kombucha hasn't picked up as a category yet.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Smaash. So imagine yourself 5 years back. You were probably doom scrolling on Instagram or ordering your third cocktail of the week. Definitely not stressing about the probiotic count in your drink and how much gluten is there in your cafe food that you go out. Fast forward to today's world, we all have become so conscious about the food that we are having, the beverages we are having, be it our digital detox, be it our sleep schedule. So in general, we have become very conscious of the way that we are living and we have become very mindful of the lifestyle that we are leading to. But do you guys think that the change is real? Are we really transforming in a mindful and a healthier society, or is this just a small shift from big luxuries to small aesthetically pleasing luxury? Stay tuned with us till the end to find out the answer. Today we have with us Nirraj Manek, who is the CEO of Sbooch. He is the owner of one of the leading kombucha brands in India and they have been awarded the world's best kombucha in Spain. Let's get this banging conversation started where we will be discussing about the niche cultures, how we have really shifted in the way that we consume, be it digital, be it food and beverages, before COVID and after COVID. So let's get this started. Hi Nirraj, it's great to have you. Welcome to the Smaash podcast. How are you feeling?
Thank you, Sneha. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here. I'm sure we are going to brew some amazing conversation and some kombuchas around during our conversation.
Likewise. Let's start the conversation with a toss.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's smooch it and let's start the amazing conversation. I'm sure many of our friends and family have not even heard about Sbooch. To chalo theek hai. Kombucha also more than 90% have not heard.
Correct.
Let's try and create some noise around and give some information which people would love to hear.
Of course. And I think after this podcast, people will pretty much understand what really kombucha is and what really does to your body. How is Sbooch different from all the other kombucha brands in India? So let's start our conversation with something that would tell me more about you as a person. So when I talk to Nirraj as a person, we are not talking about Nirraj, the CEO of Sbooch, or Nirraj, the father, or the husband, or the businessman. We are talking to that one guy who has this young spirit inside him. What really led that Nirraj to build something in the space of kombucha market, which is something that Indians did not even know a couple of years back? Like, what was the motivation to start something so new in India?
Great one, Sneha. See, honestly, we have made our life complicated a bit lately. Things are very simple. I mean, tell me pre-COVID or even 20 years back, what options of beverages we had? Nariyal pani, nimbu pani, lassi, chas, chai, coffee. If I talk about coffee just for an example, there are 100 types of coffee which have come. And I'm sure from Gen Zs to seniors, everyone are glued from the day to start. I'm not saying I'm not against coffee, but it's just for your knowledge.
Right.
Coffee is a dehydrating beverage and people are glued from day to morning. It's in a limited consumption, people can have it. There is nothing. I'd just like to ask you one question. What led me to find or get into Sbooch or kombucha? Because since my college days, since I was into my conscious understanding of what to have and what to not, I never used to have any added stuff. I never used to have any artificial sweeteners. I never used to have any I'm not even a great alcohol lover. So there were very limited options.
Of course.
Tell me one beverage while you are traveling, while you're at supermarket, with your friends, with your family, one beverage you want to pick from the shelf which has zero, no marketing jargons, zero artificial flavors, colors, essence, additives, or preservatives, and not loaded with sugar, except water. Can you think and tell me at least one product or brand?
Of course, I think I cannot think of any, but I remember when my grandparents were living with me, we used to carry this one thing called kanji,
Absolutely right.
and I think that is where the birth of kombucha also starts.
So you are to the point. Kanji is a fermented drink,
course.
and again it goes years ago. Similarly, just for everyone's understanding, kombucha is not a trend. It's one of the oldest drink in the history of mankind. Goes back 5,000 years ago, since Mahabharata maybe. And that's the differentiator. Even after that, more than 90% of India's population have not even heard about kombucha, forget drinking. Try and speak or get the topic of kombucha when you are with your family. 8 out of 10 people won't even have heard about kombucha. The awareness is lacking. Nevertheless, but there is something which Sbooch has come up with. I'll definitely give a lot of insights during our conversation, how Sbooch is different. But the major gap in 1.6 trillion beverage landscape globally, you and I can't even name one beverage which is unadulterated on the shelf, which you can give from a toddler to seniors, guilt-free. That's the change, that's the gap, and that's why Sbooch. Because even if I want to consume something except water for refreshment, which is clean, I cannot currently.
And I think it's very brave of you to get into this space, because I think we as Indians are very rooted, and we have tea, coffee in our routine. So getting a beverage which is much more healthier than tea and coffee and replacing it, when we Indians from generations are so addicted to tea and coffee, is marvelous. But like, have you ever thought of it as a challenging aspect?
It does. To be very honest, as we started a conversation, that things have become very complex nowadays. There are a lot of options. In so many options also, we can't even figure out one thing which is clean. And now things have become a lot commercialized. When Raven, the food farmer of the world, have started giving information and educating people and kids around what is really clean and what is not, where we come to know some of the names itself are being misled with the type or the quality of products. I didn't know that fresh tomato doesn't have any fresh tomatoes inside. It's just the name. For example, there are things which have been misinterpreted, and nowadays it's difficult to find something which is not clean. When we say that things are not informed and kids are not even aware about what's right and what's wrong, that's when it becomes more challenging, when you're getting into a new category at large. This is a category creator. It's not a 150th coffee brand where you see tons of options in coffees, from latte to matchas to tons of other options which people are now getting used to. So having said that, there is now something on the shelf which is clean, which is zero artificial flavors, made of real ingredients. Even most of the kombuchas or beverages available in the market has some or the other artificial flavors, colors, or fructic acid. When I am proud to say that Sbooch is completely natural. Even when we use, you have never heard of these flavors in a bottle before.
Right.
And the flavors when you have it are all clean, natural and unadulterated. All real, farm fresh, and no nature identical flavors or nature based
So
flavors.
Spoosh has no preservatives.
Zero preservatives, zero colors. You can see my bottle is as clean as my label, as clean as my product.
Oh, that's great. And also, we just had a conversation about, how there are certain beverages that are so in our routine that we cannot even think about not having it. Because I remember back at my home when I was with my parents, if my mama never used to have a tea or a coffee, she used to start getting the jitters. She's just so addicted to it. So, do you think that kombucha as a beverage is also addicting, or it is something that is little light?
So, just for everyone's understanding, kombucha is an acquired taste so far. 9 out of 10 kombuchas available in the market don't taste well. don't taste good. That's the reason kombucha hasn't picked up as a category at large. We as Indians, even after knowing how harmful the aerated drinks are, how harmful or sugar content these things have, the caffeinated or aerated drinks, still, if the party is happening at your place, what is the first thing you will order?
A beer?
If you are an alcoholic.
Of
If
course.
you are not,
Maybe some mocktails? Mojito?
full of sugar and syrups.
Exactly.
That's the gap. By the way, for the understanding and for everyone's understanding, do you know what is kombucha?
Yeah, it's a fermented tea.
You're to the point. Like we ferment milk to get curd/buttermilk.
Right.
Same way when we ferment barley to get beer. Same way we get kombucha when we ferment tea, chai. It's as simple as it. Kanji is one of an example of a fermented beverage, and that's when it is filled with natural antioxidants and immunity booster. It works. It's a gut-friendly drink. We are, as a brand, we are not positioning this as a health or a medicated drink. We are positioning this as a lifestyle drink. From a 5-year-old to a 95-year-old can have it guilt-free. From an alcoholic to non-alcoholic can have it. It's a standalone, amazing product for non-alcoholics, but it's a shining star in your alcohol as well, as I mentioned, that nothing,
Right.
no cocktails or mocktails can be made without any syrups or sugar so far. So that's the difference what we are trying to bring in. From health enthusiasts to junk eaters, from fitness freaks to patients, everyone can have it. That's the beauty of it. It's a gut-friendly drink.
So there are no side effects of having a kombucha.
Absolutely not. And the benefit, not only the side effects, Neha, it works on your gut. Why I say, from people nowadays are having lot of artificial proteins, artificial immunity boosters, antioxidants. Why? When you have something naturally fermented, fizzy pot of gold, why are we even trying to have something so common, available? Now, of course, there are few players coming up with kombucha, but I'm proud to say that on the shelf, the best part about this Sbooch is the taste. This is the only kombucha with taste, with flavors you have never heard of in a bottle, and all real ingredients. So that's something which we are bringing on table, and I'm proud to say that, as you rightly mentioned, we have just not, the consumers are loving it. It's the first and the only brand across India of kombucha to ever reach at that stage and even win. Few months back, we won the best kombucha of the year 2025 in London beer competition, where some of the biggest brands, and this is the first Indian brand ever in non-alcoholic category to win it.
Is it safe to say that you don't have any competition in India when it comes to the growth
No.
and the taste?
No. Yes, there are few parameters where the Sbooch has come up or raised the bar or come up the curve, because of which it has penetrated the offline and online market pretty fast. And just because of the product has come up well. Whatever I say, whatever my partners say, whatever you say, or whatever Mr. Suniel Shetty says, if the product is not good, it's not going to work. And that's one of the reason. There are few parameters where Sbooch has its own USP, like taste. It is the only product which is using all natural and raw and real and farm produced ingredients and spices. Flavors wise, taste wise, I say, you have never heard of these flavors in a bottle. Tell me, have you ever had rasam in a bottle?
Never.
Koshimbir, which is a salad in a bottle. Naga pepper, tulsi and lemon. Now, that's the flavors. And when I say tulsi and lemon, we are putting real tulsi leaves and lemon, from fermentation to brewing to bottling. Nothing artificial.
Something which is similar to modern Ayurveda.
Absolutely. And that's where, not just in India, even outside India, there is a huge, huge buzz of Indian flavors, Indian spices, Indian Ayurveda, where spices like tulsi, pepper, ginger are the ones which are being accepted. Why to put artificial stuff when you can have something real?
Right. And I think we all speak enough about the diversity India offers, and like it's really creative and visionary to see that you have put in different flavors from different states in a bottle in a form of a, I would say, flavor that a young generation can drink and understand. Because of course these are, tulsi is something that my nani used to tell me to eat because it's very good for your health. Lemon is something which is used when you have like a parched throat or something like that. So I think these flavors are reintroduced, which is doing a great job in, like making us acquainted with these kind of flavors as well.
I would like to just add one point to that. It's a culture, it's not a trend.
Of course.
It's the culture of India which we are trying to put it in a bottle. It's a culture of our tradition. It's a culture of rich heritage what we have. When I talk about, for example, a flavor like Naga pepper, which is of Nagaland, which we have mentioned in the maps as well of each of the bottle. So when I talk about Naga pepper, it's a very rare spice which is, I would say, cannot be farmed. It can be harvested from the jungles of Nagaland. So it's a very, very unique spice which people might not even know, even in India. So that's the beauty which we have tried to bring in. The cultures, the Godkeri of Gujarat, which is a very native or a captive, a very common pickle of every household in Gujarat. Rasam flavor of Tamil Nadu. Koshimbir of Maharashtra. We have come up with these unique flavors which people would love to enjoy because that's the palate which they already have. And something which is healthy, something which is clean and unadulterated. Guess what? Now your 5-year-old toddler to your kids' parties can have, instead of some aerated stuff, they can have kombuchas across.
Lovely. Also, you mentioned about Suniel Shetty. Like, I am very intrigued to know that how did you actually get Suniel Shetty on board to promote a kombucha brand to start with?
So honestly, it wasn't planned. It was a destiny. And when you see, everyone says that when you are in process of trying something new, and when your intent is good, right people come and join the forces. This was pure destiny when we were having the trial runs going on for one and a half year for the flavors. So if you have heard about a fine dine restaurant in Bombay called Ikka, which is
Yes.
in top 100 restaurants of the world and only 4th from India to become part of that league. So that's one of my baby. I'm a partner in Ikka. And Chef Niyati, hence, is also part of Sbooch because she's the one who has curated these amazing, unique flavors. She's the brainchild behind these flavors. So that's the reason we are able to transform that experience of ingredient-based restaurant to an ingredient-based kombucha or a product. While these trials were going on, Mr. Shetty and the family were there for dinner at our Ikka. And that's when we were having a trial runs going on. So Sagar happened to make him taste. And that's when he happened to say that this is something really good. He was also not aware about, like I wasn't, few years back. And he happened to say that this has a huge potential to grow as a product in retail market. So Sagar said, my sir is already creating a brand out of it. He happened to say, sir ko milao, let's explore. And that's how the journey started. So he's just not a brand ambassador or a face for the company. He's a partner in the company. To be honest, at this age, I have never seen someone as disciplined in terms of food, in terms of what one wants to consume as him. He is an icon in true sense. He made me conscious at this age when I saw him and the discipline he had in his food. When he's promoting, it's truly something which adds to the value, adds to the credibility of the brand.
That's amazing to hear about it. So, as we were talking about the routine consumption, looking back at 2019, how do you think the routine consumption of these beverages have changed over the years? Like, have you seen a similar pattern, or there is something that has come up which is very astonishing to you as well?
So the culture has come up. I mean, tell me, pre-COVID, ever you have picked up any product and checked the labels, except for medicines for the expiry date?
Not really.
And look at the change which you can see now. Any product you pick or you want to shop, the first thing you want to pick and see, how much palm oil is it having, how much sugar content it's having. That's the shift which we have, including the Raven food farmer, who has created this awareness from kids to seniors and created this noise of label Padega India. People have become more and more conscious of what they want to consume, how they want to consume, how often they want to consume. It's good. Honestly, I didn't know 20 years back what I was consuming. I never thought before putting whether it's colas or whether it's energy drinks or anything. I never thought twice that what am I drinking. It was just for the refreshment. But once we come to know that it has 40 to 80 grams of sugar in just one bottle, it's something which is completely unacceptable on a daily basis. I mean, to consume so much sugar on a regular or in a routine form is
We have in general become very conscious about our daily choices as well.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm sure you know, India is one of the capital of diabetic patients across the world. People have never thought of what they want to consume. In now, not just adults, the young ones, the Gen Zs, the millennials, I'm sure the data and statistics which also second this, it's the most conscious generation so far ever, not just in consuming the less alcohol, but also in understanding what they want to have on a regular basis. And that's the reason the kind or the fitment of Sbooch or Kombucha is ideal for the coming generations. I am telling you all the trends which are happening, which is good for everyone to give options, but this culture is going to stay for long. We have a huge potential of becoming a leader in the category, whether I say a Maggie or a Bisleri of my category, because of the features, because of the USP which we have. And we will never leave that. I have got many players coming to us saying that start using these nature identical flavors. These are as equal as. I said, can I write it's all real and all natural? No. Sorry. We will not be able to put that in the beverage. So that's the DNA of Smooch. We will not make it adulterated. We will always have the real ingredients. And that's the reason it's priced at the same range what other kombuchas are priced.
Do you think Gen Zs are more healthier, more aware about their body than the earlier generations?
Definitely, they have because there is an accessibility. To be honest, they have options. They have multiple things to select from. So it's not about Gen Zs, including Gen Zs, even the adults and even the seniors have become more picky nowadays. What they want, what they don't. Earlier, there was only one type of cheese. There was only one type of coffee. There was only one type of tea. Now there are 50 different types of options which everyone has. So it's obvious for Gen Zs also to get accessibility or get exposed to these kind of things at a very early stage. And yes, they have become mindful, or I would say informed, that what they want, what they don't want, what they want to avoid, how much they want to have, and how often they want to have. So that's something which is good. And of course, the choices are very, very, I would say, stronger nowadays, opinionated nowadays very clearly with Gen Zs, because this is the generation which has come. In fact, we have only tagged them, whether it's Gen Zs or millennials. But it has its own positives and negatives. But at the same time, the good thing is they have their own opinion, they have their own choices. As the data says, this is one of the generation over the decades who has the least amount of alcohol consumption. They are the ones who are being mindful of what and how much, I mean, they want to consume the aerated stuff, they want to consume the adulterated stuff. So it's good. And at an early stage or age, if they are getting to know what needs to be done, they are the most active and gym friendly generation. So these all things which we were not get or used to get that privilege or access to, but it's something which is a positive thing. And I'm sure that they are the bringers of any other brand. They are the carriers of any brands. If any family wants to try something new, of course, the Gen Zs or the young generations are the one who are going to carry that and request or discuss this about in the family, which is going to get more and more the word of mouth. So you cannot discount this generation at all. This is something which, and always the youth has been the foundation of any growth of the country. And so as we have the highest, this generation who is leading and making things change for India. And I'm sure we are at the Sbooch is also at the right place at the right time and create the new culture with the kombucha culture which we want to bring in.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a point that Gen Zs consume alcohol in a much comparatively less compared to millennials. And I personally feel this is something that I feel that previous generation used to drink to get off or get in a different zone. But I think Gen Zs are drinking in a way to stay in control.
To be honest, drinking cannot be no one can drink to stay in control. Everyone is having it for
But they're
fun.
more conscious about it compared to the previous generation.
Yes, that is true. They are conscious of when to have it, as I said,
course.
how much to have it. That is something which is there.
That is the main reason why there is a term called
Yes.
social drinker.
Absolutely. So that's something which has evolved, I would say, over the years, and it is good as far as seeing them or watching them. Even the adults are getting informed or aware about that in what quantity one should consume. And just to add to the usage, the TAM of this product is brilliant. As I was mentioning about the target audience who can consume this is something which is one of the healthiest mixer for people who wants to consume alcohol as well. Because right now, if otherwise someone wants to consume alcohol, they have no options left. Either they have colas or sodas or aerated drinks or juices, which is again filled with sugar.
Is Pooch positioning themselves as the alternative of this whole transition that has been happening?
Absolutely. So there are two things to it when you say alternative. One, replacing alcohol. It's one of the best option if you don't want to have alcohol or if someone is not having, because it's vegan, it's gluten free, it's non-alcoholic and gut friendly. So that's the biggest advantage of Sbooch. And for people who want to have alcohol, it can be a shining star in their spirits, because even if you order any mocktails or cocktails anywhere, it will be filled with sugar and syrups. That's where the beauty of this comes. Just to let you know, even a diabetic or a blood pressure, a cardiac, a liver, lungs, weight loss, skin, indigestion, all these things, kombucha aids to the benefit, and it helps to reduces the complications. So it's a natural immunity booster, antioxidant, and works on your gut.
Okay, I think that is something that we had a conversation about what Pooch is doing and what is the, I would say, how it is coming in and, like being a disruptor in this whole beverage industry. Because most of the options that we have are either sugary or they're not good for our health. And I think you mentioned one brilliant point that if someone does not drink, then they don't have any other option. But now I think we have kombuchas. If I am with a group of my friends, all of them are drinkers and I don't drink. So I can simply sit with a bottle of kombucha if I'm very conscious about my health, because I think nowadays we are also seeing people who are very conscious about their health. We can also see these things in the niche cultures that are growing in, like run clubs. People, if you told me 5 years back that there will be a run club where 10, 30 or 40 people will be running together, I would have said it's a bullshit idea. But now people are monetizing on that idea. At the same time, people who don't like the effects of what caffeine does to their body, now there is matcha coming in. People are more conscious about their health. They are preferring matcha over caffeine. Also a very controversial take. I wanted to ask this because that is one 3 a.m. thought I got yesterday. What is more healthier, a kombucha or a matcha?
Interesting question. So coming to your first question, Sneha, yes, there is a culture shift of the options what people are having. Earlier people, I mean, tell me, what do you see on a daily basis at your house? Either you start your day with a cup of tea or a coffee. Imagine Dadaji sitting on a chair with a newspaper. Instead of having a tea, Dadi handing over a bottle of kombucha. And that's the true shift or a transition. That's the message which we want to. Because what people are usually having, just because pratha chali aa rahi hai saalon se, you are starting your day with the acidic drink. Either tea or coffee, which is a dehydrating drink. People say, savere uthe ke ek glass pani pina chahiye. Why? That's when your body needs the water most. And what are you having? Coffee. Sorry, but the trend is not sometimes always good. Hence, you have one bottle of kombucha a day early, and you try this for 6 days, Sneha. You see the difference in your body, and I'm not exaggerating. This is the fact. It's a gut-friendly option. Why are we not shifting to a natural, genuinely quality options which are there? I'm not saying have something which you don't want to, but a ball of curd, for example, is like the best thing you can have it in the morning. It's again a fermented milk. Why are we not having? We are looking out for drinks like matcha. I'm sorry if you like matcha, but when I had it, as far as the taste is concerned, it's one of the shittiest drink I have ever had. I could not gulp even 2 sips of it. But people are going it and having it just because of the trend.
Right.
I'm not comparing which is better, but there are 50,000 options for India, in India, which are much more healthier, antioxidant rich, and cheaper, and immunity booster. Why are we not having? Just have a turmeric options with a hot water and see how much it helps you on your gut. Sneha, I'm not just talking about Sbooch, but what I sometimes see is that the trend is temporary. You can't have something which is trending for long.
Very true.
One needs to understand the core of what the product is. When you understand that, it is going to go a long way. And I'm positive that once we start creating that awareness, people will shift to the right option.
And I think there is a lot of product growth that we have seen in couple of months just purely on the basis of fleeting trends. I think one of which great example will be Labubus, which is everyone knew it's an ugly looking doll, but just for the sake of like looking fancy on social media and seeing celebrities using it, you started using it, and then later I think no one really talks about Labubus anymore. It was those 1 or 2 months everyone was obsessing over it, and now no one even talks about it.
Absolutely, that was a trend. I'll be very honest. Have you ever tried Prime? It's a 500 to 700 rupee drink. Kids were requesting their parents and their extended families to get it from US until it was there in India. It's a flavored. Sorry, it is if it's controversial, but I'll be as candid as I can. It's just a flavored water in the worst packaging. And guess what? How much it was sold for? 500 to 700 bucks in India. And kids were having it as a trend, as something, as a privilege. Why?
I think it's more of a status symbol for people than actually a product, and actually they're liking it or not.
Absolutely. Just because a smart YouTuber knows how to create a brand out of a product, and because he's selling it or he's promoting it, people are going gaga over it. But there is no basic or there is no core to the product.
On which the whole economy of Bandra Cafe is based on. Selling overpriced matchas and overpriced coffee that you subconsciously know that you can make it at your home as well. They're still having it. Because you want to look cool in front of your friends.
So you are right, but the cafe culture is more of than the consumption. It's the vibe, it's the environment, it's to have some time, good time with the friends and family. But having said that, it is something temporary. Can't you have it regularly at home? Can't you have something regularly on your daily lifestyle or a routine? And that's why we want to position, or we want to come across as something which you can have it a regular day to day, any time of the day. Because a DJ, being a DJ, most of the time making money and professionally around in clubs and nightclubs, he will never have alcohol while he's DJing. What options he have?
No other options, I guess.
Either aerated or caffeinated.
Of course.
Imagine a yoga person starting the day. What are the options they're having instead of artificial proteins or coffees?
Right.
Or caffeinated? Except fresh juices, which are not always easily available around in most of the places.
And I think I've heard it somewhere that even a lot of fruit cage or fresh juices also, they are also not that healthy for you, because when you eat a whole fruit, you're also having the fiber. But when you are like you squeezing the juice out of it, you are taking in a lot of calories that is required.
But
More than
that's
that is
still
required.
better than at least all the adulterated stuff available. At
Any
least
day.
it's natural. I'm okay, and I'm in fact very happy if kids and youngsters are having that. But this, which is all packaged, is something which I would not recommend.
So ये सब तो बात हो गई about what Sbooch does, what are the benefits, what are the cultures surrounding it, and we also talked a lot about the consumption style of Gen Zs. I also remember a lot of people in our age have a lot of gut issues. I think that is where the whole term of lactose intolerance also came in.
The
And
core
that is
to all, Sneha, the core to all problems in your body starts from gut. That's how important it is to make sure that your gut is the healthiest in your body. Because if you take care of your gut, you will never have any major problems in your body.
very true. And I think with the lifestyle that we are living in, the food that we have, I think taking care of gut is very important because earlier इतना commercialized नहीं था सब कुछ. Everything was not made in palm oil because sadly all the street food that we have, our majority of them are made in palm oil, which is very bad for the gut. And that is why you have the digestive issues, that is why you get pimples on your face, and that is why you have so many other diseases, countless diseases that doctors are currently talking about. So we talked about everything other than actually knowing the story behind the name of the brand, Sbooch. So how did you come with the name Sbooch?
So that's an interesting question, Sneha. In a global terms, kombucha is slanged as booch. So if you're in US and if you ask there that do you want a booch, so they will ask you that do you want to have a kombucha. That's when the name booch came, which is a short form of kombucha. And S is for naturally sparkling fizzy drink. That was the dynamism when we were thinking. We wanted a single name, short name, which was quirky, which was bold, which was premium, and we can play with the dynamism of the word as well. I can say, do you want to smooch it or have a smooching day? So we can play with the word as well. That was an added advantage of having such a short name. If you have heard Sbooch ever, you will never forget it.
I think we spoke a lot about what Sbooch is, what it is doing in the Indian market, how it is a disruptor. At the same time, we actually spoke a lot about the niche cultures as well, how the consumption has changed for Gen Zs, and how is it that we as a current generation are looking at our lifestyle and how we are consciously choosing our day-to-day activities as well, including the things that we consume. That is something that we could have never thought about 5 years back. But now we are actually looking at all the labels. Now we are actually looking at the menus and looking at the signs of what it is. It gluten free? Is it veg or non-veg? Is something that we used to always watch. But nowadays we're looking at gluten. Nowadays we're looking at if the particular product has dairy or not. So I think we spoke a lot about it, and I think it was a great, insightful conversation because I am a kind of person who loves to discover, learn more about the subcultures, and I myself love kombucha. And I remember
Keep
one.
smooching it.
Yes, I'll keep spooging it.
Yes.
Spooching it.
Perfect.
Okay, so Phil, with that note, we are gonna end this podcast here. I hope you guys heard this podcast till the end and you actually took something out of it because I did. And honestly, I got to know more about kombucha than I ever knew because I never thought that we have any proper alternatives in the society, and that is something that Nirraj spoke a lot about. So I think there is something that you need to add in your beverage list next time you go out with your friends if you don't drink, and even if you drink, try getting on a healthier option. So we are going to end on that note. Thank you so much for each and everyone to see the podcast till the end. Please like, share and comment down your views about all the things that we have had a conversation about, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Once we come to know that it has 40 to 80 grams of sugar in just one bottle, it's something which is completely unacceptable on a daily basis. I mean, to consume so much sugar on a regular or in a routine form. When we were having the trial runs going on for 1.5 years. If you have heard about a fine dine restaurant in Bombay called Ikka, which is in top 100 restaurants of the world and only 4th from India to become part of that league. So that's one of my baby. I'm a partner in Ikka. While these trials were going on, Mr. Shetty and the family were there for dinner at our Ikka. And that's when we were having a trial runs going on. So Sagar happened to make him taste. And that's when he happened to say that this is something really good. He was also not aware about, like I wasn't, few years back. And he happened to say that this has a huge potential to grow as a product in retail market. So Sagar said, my sir is already creating a brand out of it. He happened to say, sir ko milao, let's explore. And that's how the journey started. So he's just not a brand ambassador or a face for the company. He's a partner in the company. To be honest, at this age, I have never seen someone as disciplined in terms of food, in terms of what one wants to consume as him. He is an icon in true sense. From a 5-year-old to a 95-year-old can have it guilt-free. From an alcoholic to non-alcoholic can have it. Kombucha is not a trend. It's one of the oldest drink in the history of mankind. Goes back 5,000 years ago. Zero preservatives, zero colors. You can see my bottle is as clean as my label, as clean as my product. Kombucha is an acquired taste so far. 9 out of 10 kombuchas available in the market don't taste well, don't taste good. That's the reason kombucha hasn't picked up as a category at large. Once we come to know that it has 40 to 80 grams of sugar in just one bottle, it's something which is completely unacceptable on a daily basis. I mean, to consume so much sugar on a regular or in a routine form